perfect game for Roy Halladay.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Phaithful Phanatics podcast. As always, I'm your host, Dylan Davis, along with my three co-hosts, Matt Snapsitsmansky, Matt McGinty, and George Ryder. Fellas, how are we feeling? It's a Victory Wednesday. In a sense.
Kind of.
I guess.
If you want to call it that.
Yeah, if we want to call it that. We're going to be discussing the Eagles and Cowboys game, Carson Wentz's play. Is it a concern for you guys? We're at the halfway mark now with the Eagles going on the bye week. How would you rate their first half of the season at 3-4-1? What are some of your expectations going forward for the second half of the season? As always, Pigskin Picks. It's always a fun segment to do with you guys. And there's a lot of rumors now with Daryl Morey as the president of basketball ops for the 76ers, bringing with him James Harden from Houston. What would that trade entail? How possible is it? We're going to discuss that towards the end of this episode. So, boys, first, I guess, obviously, we'll break down the Cowboys game. Eagles win 23-9. Good teams win. Great teams cover. They cover the double-digit spread somehow. But me and Gint were talking pre-show about how the Steelers and Ravens game were losses, but they had moral victories within them that you felt okay about the Eagles where they were headed. The Cowboys game's a victory, but it has a sense of a loss. It doesn't feel like an Eagles win over the Cowboys, especially within this fan base and on social media and everything. So Carson Wentz turns the ball over 4 times. Brandon Graham continues to play great football, has a strip sack that I think changed the outcome of that game very early within the game. So, George, we'll start with you. Just what are your final thoughts? We know it was an ugly game. There's not much to really dissect besides Carson's play, which, like I said, we're going to get to. So what are your final takeaways from the Eagles' 23-9 win?
How the hell did we win by 2 touchdowns? It didn't feel like that at all. The scoreboard doesn't show at all what that game was. That was terrible to watch. It was an awful performance all around. I mean, shout out the defense, 9 points, but Carson Wentz looked horrible. And we're all Carson Wentz advocates on this podcast. We all defend Carson all the time, but that game, that was one of the worst games I've seen him play. Those 2 turnovers, or the 4 turnovers, but the 2 interceptions, the one where he just chucked it up 50 yards to Hightower, that was absolutely scary, especially in that wind. I don't know what he was thinking. There's really not much to dissect in this game, like you said. It's just Carson Wentz looked really bad. The defense held the Cowboys 9 points, and we still somehow won by double digits, and it didn't feel like that at all. It felt like a close game that we could have easily lost, and we somehow won by 14. So it's great to get a win, but it doesn't feel good.
So before I throw the snap, is a win to you?
See, typically, yeah, a win is a win, and we needed that win specifically, of course, with the Cowboys and with this division. But the feeling after that game wasn't positive at all. Good to get a win, but I don't feel good at all after that.
All right, Snap. What are your final takeaways from the Eagles-Cowboys game?
I mean, really kind of right back where we started. It's just awful. Awful. I know last week I said it was going to be a grinded out type of game, but I really didn't expect it to be this ugly. It was a terrible watch. And just looking at the final score, you would think it would be such a better game. 9 points from Dallas. You would be like, oh, dude, we held them down. Team probably looked great, blah, 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 blah. Then you watch it, and Carson's got, 4 turnovers. Defense is the only reason we won. I still can't believe we actually put that many points up on them. I'm kind of sad that if there was a game to do the whole Jalen Hurts thing and send Carson a message, it was that game. But they didn't. They stayed with Carson. Carson did not look like he did the last week or the week before that. He just looked awful, man. He just looked so bad. But I guess a win's a win. You can chalk it up in the win column, but I don't think anyone feels like a winner after that.
Jan.
Yeah, I mean, it was obviously ugly. No one's going to argue that. Doug Peterson was, again, very, very, very bad. Jim Schwartz was the defense let up 9 points, but realistically, he probably gave up 6 himself in terms of Jim Schwartz. And just like you said, I'm still not – Carson Wentz didn't look good. He had 4 turnovers, but I'm still obviously not jumping on the bus. I'm riding it. But another thing is Doug Peterson, I don't know what these tight ends did to him, but the tight ends can't get the ball at all. We have 2 of them, and they both can't catch any. They can't get any looks all of a sudden. So, like you said, underwhelming, but I think there's a lot of overreaction. Surprise, surprise, with Philadelphia fans right now. We won by 14 points. It's not like we relied on a 35-yard field goal to win the game. We won by 2 touchdowns. So I don't have a sense of absolute, oh, this is horrible, as most people do. So.
Yeah, I'm with me and Ginn talked about this pre-show. Like, I'm going to get a lot of probably backlash for this. I understand the concern with Carson's play, with the offense. I understand how ugly the game was. I was pissed off with you guys as well when you're losing to the Cowboys with Ben DiNucci at halftime. Okay? I don't know why the Eagles offense struggled against the Cowboys defense. Doug Peterson, Carson Wentz, blame goes to both. But my God, you would think Carson Wentz turned the ball over 4 times in a loss to the Ben DiNucci-led Cowboys. They won by 14. If I know it was garbage time, but if a defensive back doesn't make a great play on the ball in the end zone, the final score is 30-9 with a Jalen Reagor touchdown. It doesn't mean anything to me. I'm not enthused by the win. I'm not happy. I'm not impressed. I have nothing positive to take away. And I understand the concern. What I don't understand, and like Ginn said, it's not shocking to me from this fan base, is the level of concern I'm seeing on social media. Yes, I'm not happy with it, but a win is a win. Did any of you guys think they were going to cover a 10.5-point spread against the Cowboys? I know it's Ben DiNucci, but realistically, the Eagles couldn't cover a 4-point spread against the Giants the week 10 days prior. Did you think they were going to cover by 10 plus against the Cowboys? No. Guess what? They did. And it was ugly. And we said it last week. Carson Wentz bailed out Doug Peterson's ass. Okay? This week, the defense bailed out Carson Wentz. There's no doubt about it. He played his worst game, in my opinion, as the Eagles starting quarterback. That and the Saints game I always go back to in 2018. It was horrendous. I'm a Carson apologist. You're not going to get anything out of me today. I'm not. There's no defending him. It was ugly. Yes, there is a little bit of concern, which we'll get into in a second. But oh my God, you would think we lost when Carson threw 4 turnovers. Do you know who also had 4 turnovers on Sunday afternoon? The reigning league MVP. And I get it. I know we played the Steelers defense and we played the Cowboys. It's apples to oranges. But Lamar turned it over 4 times in a loss to a divisional rival, where if he doesn't turn the ball over that many times, they probably win the game. Carson turns it over 4 times. The defense doesn't allow any points from it. The Eagles cover a double-digit spread, and my God, the city's burning down again. Carson's broken again. Yeah, he did look pretty broken on Sunday night, but I think he'll turn it around after the bye week. I think having the bye week this week is critical. So my final takeaway, again, ask me what I think of the Jalen Hurts experiment.
I know what you're going to say. Dill, what do you think of the Jalen Hurts experiment?
It doesn't work. Okay? It doesn't work.
It doesn't.
It's over. It's over. And I'm not even saying it's him. It's the creativity that Doug has drawn up in this offense. I mean, and it's a little bit him. The fumbles, he comes in after Carson drives us down the field on our second offensive possession on the 6-yard line. Do you guys know where the game clock is, where the play clock is on the field? Directly in front of his face. Guess what Jalen Hurts does on his first snap? This great quarterback that would come in and do things that Carson Wentz can't do right now. Delay a game. Doesn't see the clock. Clock hits 0. Doesn't call a timeout. Doug doesn't call a timeout. Nothing. That's what happened. But now Carson's got a 1st and goal from the 11, not the 6, and still goes and gets 6 points. And again, like we said, the defensive line, to wrap it up, the defensive line is something we keyed on last week. They came to play. I know it's Ben DiNucci, and it's kind of hard to say that this game would have been over in the first quarter. But if Brandon Graham doesn't come up with that strip sack, I'm really afraid that game's over, because you would have given a Cowboys team that had seen no life and no energy for the previous week since Dak went down. And if they go up 10-0 in the first quarter against the Eagles, they're going to be ready to go, and that game goes south real quick, in my opinion. So Brandon Graham bowed out Carson Wentz, bowed out the Eagles, and they come away with a win. To me, yeah, a win's a win, dude. In this division, and stop acting. We need to stop acting like the Eagles are a great team.
Exactly.
Like the Eagles are a really good team, and they allowed Ben DiNucci and the Cowboys to hang around. The Eagles are beaten up. They're battered. They're not playing well. Their coach is calling a poor game. Their quarterback hasn't played well for most of the season. Like, it's not like a good Eagles team almost blew it to that team. Exactly. A bad team at the moment beat a bad team.
In a season where wins just weren't coming, I just don't get how we win a game by double digits. And you would have thought that we were 5-2 and we almost blew the game. Like, we are not, and every Eagles fan says it. We're not good. 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 And then
so why are you surprised?
And then we beat exactly. And they act like, and don't get me wrong, I love Eagles fans. I love the Eagles and I love everything about it. But we have to get this thought out of our head that we should blow any team in the NFL out. We have to. We simply have to.
All right. So obviously Carson Wentz in number 11 was the biggest takeaway from this game. So Snap, we'll start with you because it's newsworthy everywhere right now. Is Carson's play from Sunday night a concern for you going forward?
Truthfully, yeah, it is. It is. I'm not going to lie. This is a team that has 3 turnovers on the year, and they completely doubled their turnovers on the season from one game against us. We had, 100-something passing yards against Dallas. Like, this is Dallas. Like, any other team. Like, I just don't get – it's almost like Carson doesn't play up to the comp. Like, he plays to the competition. If it's a good team, he balls out. If it's a bad team, he sucks. Like, it is concerning because it's starting to become a trend on this year. Yeah, offensive line sucks. Miles Sanders isn't there. Tight ends aren't looking really great in the last couple games because Dallas Goedert just got back. Zach Ertz is gone. But still, I'm sitting here, and this was Dallas. This is one of the worst defenses in the league. If there was I understand it was windy. I understand the elements aren't there. But if there was a team to put up some numbers on, and I'm not talking about turnovers, this was the game, man. You've had 2, like, pretty bad. Like, yeah, Carson won us the game last week, but still, it's just such a mix of things. This week it was definitely Carson, and I mean, thank God for the bye week, man. I won't be critical of him yet because it was one game, but like the amount of turnovers that he is producing this year is still astronomical. It's bad. How many fumbles does he have, or how many turnovers or fumbles does he have this year? Like,
the league in total turnovers.
Yeah, I think it's 12 now. Like, I can't have that from a franchise quarterback. Like, he needs to get rid of the ball early. There were a ton of plays. Like the one play where they tried the Jalen Hurts experiment. Jalen Hurts is on the right side, and he didn't even run down the field. Carson rolls out to the left side. You had about 15 yards looking at this Dallas defender about to sack this shit out of you, and you just held the ball. Like, throw it out of bounds. I don't know what's hard about that. I would make that play. If I see a 300-pound man running at me 15 yards, I don't care if he's closing the gap in 4 seconds or 3 seconds. I'm throwing that ball because I don't want to take the hit and I don't want to lose yardage. It's these little things that are just constant weekly regressions that I see from him, which gives me concern. I'm not saying Jalen Hurts is an answer. I'm not even saying put him in. I only mentioned about maybe possibly putting him in, maybe to light a fire under the kid's ass. Like, oh, we're going to really replace you if you really don't come out here. Because, like, that's what great players do. I don't care. Yeah, you can kill his confidence. But, like, if they had done that, I feel like it might have light a fire under his ass. Because, like, you've seen it. He likes the pressure, clearly. Last year, he made sure we won the division. He had all the pressure on the world. He had all the pressure of the world on him. But backtracking, just these slight regressions I see every week, it's really pissing me off a lot. Like, this was Dallas. Like, I get it's a division game. I get it's Dallas. I get it. We beat them. We beat them by, 14 points. I get all that. But 4 turnovers, man, you just can't keep doing this. You're leading the league in fumbles. Like, you were a league MVP basically, 3 years ago? Like, you need to turn it up. Like, you need to go into this bye. You need to look yourself in the mirror and examine all the parts of your game that you are really screwing up, because we have had a lot of winnable games this year. I don't care if the Ravens and the Steelers were that much better than us. Those were winnable games. And if if you do more, I know he's done a lot, but if he does more and he just locks it up and takes away these regressions, I just think, like, why can't we be a better team?
George.
Was the Cowboys game concerning? Yes. The turnovers were very concerning. Him holding the ball while the defender was literally – you knew he was coming at you. That's a rookie mistake. Like, that is not a quarterback that's been in the league. A quarterback that's been in the league does not do that. You throw the ball away. But I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt with he's still the most pressured quarterback in the NFL. He's the most sacked quarterback in the NFL. He's the most hit quarterback in the NFL. Going forward, I don't want to say I'm concerned because I feel like coming off a bye week, we're going to see a lot better Carson Wentz, hopefully. The Cowboys game was atrocious. Like, we all support Carson Wentz to the end, but that Cowboys game was fucking terrible. So I'm not on the Jalen Hurts train. I'm never going to be on the Jalen Hurts train. This is Carson's team. It's Carson's team to the end. But I'm somewhat concerned. The turnovers are the biggest thing for me, though. That's pretty much what it is. The turnovers scare the shit out of me. It seems like he's the turnover machine. And if you have a quarterback that just turns the ball over like that, sometimes that's just what he is. He just turns the ball over a lot. He's also a gunslinger. So, like, when you're throwing the ball deep, you're going to get that out of him. Like, it's going to happen. But I don't know. I wouldn't say I'm concerned, but the turnovers are definitely something to worry about. But all in all, this is his team to the season. Like, we're not going to see Jalen Hurts come in this game and lead this team. We're not going to see that. This is going to be Carson's team. So everybody's screaming for Jalen Hurts. Everyone that wants him in the game, it's not going to happen. Carson Wentz is going to lead this team. We're still probably going to win the division, and hopefully we can come off the bye week and kick the shit out of the Giants and not have to have this conversation about Carson Wentz anymore. That's the goal. We're getting healthier all around. Coming off the bye week, people will get healthier. We're a little more banged up now. Just hope for the best after the bye week is what I'm thinking.
All right, and again, is Carson's play a concern for you?
I mean, I think you guys know my answer. I'm not concerned with him in the future. Obviously, turnovers are going to be a concern. Like George said, most pressured, most hit, most sacked. Things are going to happen. Everyone will pretend like the second fumble was avoidable. Jesus wouldn't have held on to that football. So don't get me wrong. And 3 turnovers is still way too much. And especially the decision making, like you said, gets hit, throwing the ball 50 yards down the field with 40-mile-per-hour winds will never be the answer. So, but I'm not concerned. He just played lights out 3 weeks in a row, and then he has a hiccup, and it happens. Hiccups do happen, especially against a division opponent. So, I mean, if he comes out for the bye and plays like crap again, maybe you say, okay, well, if this doesn't start to happen, you don't replace him, obviously. I'm not replacing him, but you give him an ultimatum to the point where it's like, if this doesn't change, we're going to have to move on eventually. So, yeah. But like I said, I'm nowhere near jumping off this train. I don't get how he played lights out 3 weeks in a row and then this all just started again because of a bad game. But I'm not concerned.
Yeah, like George said it perfectly. Was the Cowboys game concerning? Yeah, you're damn right. And we talked a lot about it last week. Like, this is just who Carson is, right? Like, I can live with the turnover if it means the big play and the great play, right? I can't live with 4 turnovers. No one can live with 4 turnovers. I can't live with 3 turnovers. So Sunday night was definitely concerning, but I don't have a concern going forward. It's just what this fan base and media is doing to this kid, man. Like, so the first 3 weeks, he's terrible. Everyone's on him. He's broken. He might have played his last game as an Eagles quarterback after he drugged the four of us to the division to win the division last year. 3 bad games this year means he's out of the city, right? Then he plays a little bit better versus San Fran on Sunday night. They get a win. He plays really good against the Steelers, really good against the Ravens. He's lights out against the Giants. He's back. Oh, he has a hiccup against the Cowboys. He's broken again. I'm kidding. Dude, now there's 2 sides to this, right? Carson, to me, for it to be a concern, I need to see it multiple weeks in a row. Okay? Then I'll really be concerned. For Carson to let me know that he's back, I need to see the Giants' performance or there or close to it multiple weeks in a row. So I'm not just saying the Giants game just erases the first 3 weeks. I'm not saying that at all. But to say he's broke, oh my God, I've seen enough of it. And to go to the Jalen Hurts thing, the reason I'm so against it is because, and I've seen a lot of the comps too, like Snap, you were talking about, like set him down at halftime. He's played piss poor. Maybe it wakes him up, blah, blah, blah. I understand the logic. And there was the Baltimore game, I believe in 08 or 09 against the Ravens, where they did that to McNabb. I'm pretty sure Kevin Cobb came in. The difference then is there wasn't a quarterback controversy in the city. There wasn't a portion of the fan base and the media that wanted this kid to fail, that wanted Jalen Hurts in, that wanted someone else in, or a Nick Foles in, okay? There was none of that. So sitting down McNabb, there was none of looking over his shoulder, knowing even if Kevin Cobb brings them back and they win this game, it's Donovan's job the next week. If Jalen Hurts brings them back down, even though it was only 9-7, if Jalen Hurts wins that game against the Cowboys, you think those people, those Carson haters, are going to want to see Carson next week? And that's just not going to – I'm not saying you can coddle the dude. He's a year 5 quarterback in this league. I'm over the coddling. But at the same time, you have to know that you got Nick Foles out of the city for a reason, because you didn't want your franchise guy looking over his shoulder. Then you bring another guy in that he has to look over his shoulder, and this younger kid now. And the second you do that, it's over. I also think his head coach does nothing to help him out. I don't know why. I saw a stat the other week. I have it here, or earlier this week. During the 2017 9-game win streak, Wentz threw more than just 32 passes in a game one time. This season, he's thrown 40-plus passes in 5 of 8 games. Now, I know we don't have – Miles Sanders has been banged up. I know we don't have that great offensive line, etc. But why is it that you can't run the ball consistently behind a bad offensive line, but you can drop your franchise quarterback, who's the most hit, most pressured, most sacked quarterback in the league, back over and over again 40-plus times? And that, to me, is where if I'm Doug, I'm saying, okay, how can I limit some of Carson's turnovers and, flip the page here for him? Maybe don't have him dropping back 40 to 45 times a game for a couple straight weeks until he gets that confidence back, and then and you know what I mean? Help him out. He does nothing to help him out. Boston Scott under center. What was the first 3 runs of that game, guys? 3 carries for 45 yards from under center.
Look good.
He stopped running the ball. He stopped running from under center. When you run from under center and you're setting that up, where's the play action bootleg? What does Carson do well, guys? He plays well, and he's a better quarterback rolling outside the pocket and throwing on the run. Well, if Boston Scott's averaging 15 yards a carry from under center, where's the play action bootleg to get Carson Wentz out of the pocket and make a play on the run? You don't see any of it. There's nothing. This offense is so vanilla. Doug doesn't help him out. He goes away from the run when it's working. If the pass isn't working, he sticks to it. Greg Ward was in pre-snap motion all game long. Have you ever seen the Eagles run a reverse or drop the ball off to Greg Ward? So we're using pre-snap motion, it's not doing anything to the defense because they know you're not giving the ball to Greg Ward. It makes no sense.
I mean, yeah, you're absolutely right. I'm not saying he's hurt. I also want to just say, I didn't say that you should, but if there was
I know.
to put Jalen Hurts in, I don't want anyone, if anyone's watching, to come at my neck. But if there was a time to put Jalen Hurts in to do that, you do it. And yes, I agree. There is the quarterback controversy, but where I wouldn't have been mad about it is you see other quarterbacks put that shit to bed. Like, I get it. I'm going to use a comparison right now, and I know he has more weapons, but Aaron Rodgers, they drafted a quarterback right under him, basically told him he's an old man. He's playing out of his damn mind after having what we call a down season for Aaron Rodgers. Like, you just, like, and, like, the other thing is, like, yes, it's his team, but you, like George said earlier, he was playing like a rookie almost at points. Like, he looked awful. Like, there's just got to be a point where it's like, you just need to sit him down and, like, even if you're not sitting him down to teach him a lesson, sit him down and, like, just get in his head. Like, tell him, like, yo, dude, like, you're playing like ass. Like, you need to pick it up. I love Carson. I have full faith in Carson, but there's just certain things this year. Yes, I get the pressures. I get the sacks. I get it all. I do. I understand it. I see it. I'm not blind. I understand what that does to a quarterback and especially all the pressure from the media, but you're playing in Philadelphia. That comes with the damn job. It's not going anywhere. And he's been here for 5 years, so he should know this. There's been a quarterback controvery before. He laid the Nick Foles stuff to bed the season after by forcing them into the playoffs 2 years in a row. So you know that's there, or no, 1 year in a row. You know that's there. You know there's pressure. You gotta do it again. Like, this is Philadelphia. I understand the media is tough, but that's just the market, man. Like, there's no changing this. There's gonna be controversy. There's gonna be pressure. This is the city you played for. You signed the extension. You knew what you were signing up for. So I'm just saying, I need to see him progress, even with that pressure. Figure it out. I'm not saying I know how to figure it out, but you're an NFL quarterback, a former league MVP. Yeah, that was a better team. But there's just little things you can do to make yourself look better. This was Dallas. You barely cracked 100 passing yards. Like we said, it's windy as hell, and you're throwing bombs to Hightower, who's really not even that open. There's just things I just need to see him progress on. I think the bye week's going to be perfect for him. I really do. But if he doesn't come out of this bye week looking like he did against the Ravens, the Steelers, the end of the Giants game, there's going to be a concern in my book. I just can't. There's no way to put it around it. It's a bye week. This is the time to shaping up things. You clearly needed the break against. We've seen it against Dallas. I mean, we were the only team to not put up 300 total yards of offense against Dallas this year. We're talking about the Giants and the Redskins. So just as a whole team, the team needs to reset. Carson needs to watch some film and just get at it.
It's a great segue, because now we're going to turn to the halfway point of the season. The Eagles are going into a bye week. They've played 8 games. They have 8 more to play. They're 3-4-1, as we all know. So, Gint, we'll start with you. Just want a quick grade, A through F, on the first half of the season, and then just a quick, what you expect the second half.
The whole team?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
C minus. That's kind of like C minus being Carson Wentz is the only reason we're not failing the class.
Yeah.
But I do think I'm gonna say it again. I think we're gonna win the division in terms of the end of the season. Yeah, we have a tough schedule, but I mean, we just talked about it. The kid plays up to who he plays. Who he's playing against. So Doug has to be better. Like, he needs some sort of pulse. We need to find some way that Doug Peterson can put this kid in some sort of way to succeed. And if that doesn't happen, maybe we won't win the division, but I still think we're going to win it. And I'm in no way, shape, or form wanting them to not win games. I can see some people are getting to that. Oh, I don't want a tougher schedule next year. I don't want a lower draft pick. Scratch that for me. Give me a home playoff game. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, Gint didn't like being put on the spot there.
Dude, that was a tough question, man.
George, what would you grade the first half of the season, and where do you see this team headed for the second half?
C. I mean, average. Like you said, Gint, if Carson Wentz wasn't giving everybody the answers, you'd probably have an F. But I do still think we're going to win the division. I don't see the Cowboys, the Redskins, or the team and the Giants coming close to us like that. The defensive line's been great. Darius Slay has been out of his mind great. Carson Wentz has done what he does what he can to help us win games. But all in all, we're just pretty average team, probably a little below average right now. And we're probably still going to win the division, which is crazy. But probably C minus at this point in the season. Hopefully after the bye week, things get a little better and Doug flips a switch, figures shit out. That's about C.
Yeah, and we'll get into the second half of the season next week because it'll be a bye week for the Eagles and on the Phaithful Fanatics. But Snap, what would you grade the first 8 weeks?
A hard D. Pause.
Pause.
I tried to say that out loud, and I had that lined up for like 5 minutes. But yeah, I'm giving them a D. Yes, they're going to win the division probably. But it's the NFC East. They're terrible. And if you're barely winning the division, it's the worst division, probably a historically bad decision. Can you call them average? Like, honestly, can you call them average? Can you call them an average team? Because I don't call them average if this is such a bad division and you're an average team and everyone else in the division is terrible. Then why should you be called average? If this is a terrible division and you're average, prove that you're damn average at least. Like look a little better. I mean, they just have so many issues throughout the roster, from injuries and just not spending money at linebacker, even though TJ Edwards played good. But you got to go with a D, in my opinion, because the competition they faced, there's really maybe 2 games they really should have lost. 3 games they should have lost. 2, we'll call it 2, Pittsburgh and the Ravens, and you still almost beat them. So there's something there. You can't say that they're you can't say there's nothing there if they're competing against 2 really good teams. One of them's still undefeated. You took them to a nail biter, basically. So when I see things like that, you should have a better record. So I don't think you're average. If you were an average team, there would be a better record. You played Cincinnati, you played Redskins, you played the Giants, you played Dallas, San Francisco when they were banged up into oblivion. You can't call this team average. I feel like they're not middle of the pack team, like an average team. I just think we're in a really bad division. But this is still a bad team. It's the best bad team in the division. That's how I look at it. And if it wasn't for Carson, we're probably don't even have a win, if we're being honest. We would probably be one of the worst teams in the league right now. I hate to say that, but it's true because Carson saved us in a lot of games. Yeah, the defense has been there, but you can't look at this team and tell me they're average, above average team. They're a bad team as of right now. Maybe the injuries, coming back from certain injuries, will help and they'll push to full average. But I look at it as bad division. You're the best bad team in the bad division. So I'm going to give him a D.
I'm going to give them a C- to a C. I think they're right around that average mark right now. My whole thing going forward, look, the first half of this year has been the biggest roller coaster ride of an Eagles season, and as an Eagles fan that I can remember in a long time. It's the lowest of lows, and then the exciting finishes to games, and games you were getting blown out in, and the comeback wins and all that stuff. Going forward, Snap, you alluded to it at the end there. It all comes down to the injury report to me. How healthy is this team? Is this team damn near fully healthy? Because if they are, before the season started, I thought a fully healthy Eagles roster from top to bottom was going to be a pretty damn good team. If they can beat the Giants after the bye week and you're 4-4-1, which would kind of be the definition of average, right? But after the poor start, you would say, okay, maybe they're turning a page. If they're healthy, then you're damn right they're going to win the division, and I want that home playoff game, and anything can happen. Because there's no team in the NFC, and listen, I am not saying that the Eagles are going to beat the Packers of the world, the Seahawks, the Bucks, the Saints, whoever it is in front of them, right? I'm not saying they're going to beat them. But the Bucks have clearly showed issues. Losing to the Bears and barely getting by the Giants. The Packers' defense and wide receiving core is not good outside of Devontae Adams. The Seahawks' defense is not good at all. Russell Wilson is the sole reason that team is in the position they are and are a contender. So to say that there's not a team in the NFC that I'm like, the Eagles have, and especially like Snap said, after you watch how they play against the Ravens and the Steelers and how Carson elevates his game to that, if they're fully healthy, there's no team in the NFC that I say with that doubt in my mind that they can't beat. I'm not saying they're going to, but that's where I'm at. So second half of the year, I want to see them get healthy. And bottom line, I'm a Wentz apologist, but they're going to go as far as he takes them. And if they have a fully healthy defensive line, Darius Slay, 47, stays on the IR, like Jim says, oh, no, your hamstring still hurts, right? Right? Like, yeah. You stay right there. Because TJ Edwards looked phenomenal, albeit against Dallas. Singleton looks okay. Duke Riley can play on a football team. with 47 off, it's just crazy to me how the linebacking core looked okay.
Yo.
Oh, shit.
That's our keys to the season. Our starting linebacker stays out in the IR.
So if Carson can play up to this competition, especially you're going to know exactly what this team is after the Giants game. With that 5-game stretch, if they're like 2-3, but they played all 5 games tough, or they even come out 3-2, then and they're fully healthy, you could say, why can't the Eagles make a little bit of noise? If they go 1-4, 0-5, or whatever, and they get dominated, well, then you clearly know that you thought right in the beginning of the season when this is just a bad football team. So you're gonna know all that like 2 months. So with that being said, obviously we're gonna just have to talk more about the second half next week being a bye week. But Snap,
let's talk about them.
Pigskin picks. We'll start with our lock.
I thought we were going.
No. We ain't going 6 or 7.
I'm sorry. You just kind of threw me off.
One last segment.
We literally talked about that in the beginning. Yeah, just my fault.
Is everyone ready, or are we like?
Yeah, let's do it. Do we know the records from last week? Because I completely.
I was 1-1.
I went 1-1.
What
Steelers as my underdog, and then the Bills as my lock, but the Bills missed by half a point.
Snap, I think we all might have went 1-1.
Everyone won 1-1, I'm pretty sure.
All right, because I didn't look at it because I took a new approach to my bets this week. Okay, not actually putting real money on them, and also not even paying attention to them. Kind of hoping I got on the show and they were just 2-0. Because like I used to do that and I was winning, and now ever since I've been putting a lot of money on them, I started losing. This has been my problem in the past. So yeah.
Smart man, get out. George, we'll start with you. What is your lock of the week?
Lock of the week. I'm going to take the Ravens on the road against Indianapolis. -2.5. I'm pretty sure I just took his pick. -2.5. I see. Yeah, I'm sorry, Gant.
He heard us talking before the show.
I'm sorry, bro.
You were on my nerves.
Yeah, Ravens -2.5 on the road against the Colts. I mean, the Steelers game was a very tough game, divisional game, barely lost. Lamar had 4 turnovers. I just don't really see that happening again. But yeah, I don't really have faith in the Colts beating the Baltimore Ravens. So yeah, I'm gonna take Ravens -2.5 for my lock.
All right.
I feel like it's too low in my opinion, but I also thought the Bills were too low.
Oh, I hate you.
Gint, you need a minute, or are you good?
Give me more.
We'll come back around. Snap, are you ready or no?
No. I have picks, but I just don't know.
There's no preparation on the show.
No, I'll go.
Yeah,
I'm going to take the Cardinals -4.5
Oh yeah,
against the Dolphins.
I like
I think
that.
last week was a fluke. Tua didn't even throw for over 100 yards.
Nope.
Yeah, would it be bold of me to give 2 and 2?
No,
2 and 2?
it would be cheating.
You have to go fucking flat on every round now.
You got to count total round. You got to count total. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, all right. Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead.
Like I don't get like, oh, I won this one, so I'm 2-0. Like you got to count the
No, go ahead.
There's 2 I like. The Steelers are covering that 13.5, dude.
Okay.
Fucking trap. It's been a trap all year. Don't do it.
What
Anything over
Ben DiNucci, I'm not even kidding you, might be
He might
the
die.
quarterback I've ever seen play.
I can't believe they didn't sign anyone else yet.
Oh, they want to put Cooper Rush. They want to bring Cooper Rush up.
Dude, I can't believe – dude, the amount of times that sidearm throw was brought up, I
my
almost
God.
fucking lost my mind.
You didn't hear? He's the next Patty Mahomes.
Yeah, Batman.
Yeah, they didn't say that, but yeah.
And then my other one, I do like Tennessee -6 over the worst 5-1 football team in the history of the NFL.
In football ever.
Yeah, Gint, that was tough last week. Them losing outright. That was your pick, right?
Dude, they
Dude.
couldn't believe it.
They fucked my teaser.
Yeah.
All right, Snap.
All right. It's time to go big or go home.
Shit.
Lock of the week. Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the New Orleans Saints. Tom's always had Drew Brees' number. They're pretty locked on TDs this year. I think Tom Brady's just leading him. I think this is going to be a Tom Brady kind of statement game you're going to see. And also, there's a very big X factor in this game, and his name is Antonio Brown. AB's back, and I really think I mean, he's living with Tom Brady.
Yeah,
so regardless if he's been practicing or not, he's been practicing.
Wait, he's living in his house?
Yeah. If you don't think that Tom Brady
they love each
in their house.
He fucking loves Brady.
If you don't think AB and Tom Brady are in his backyard every fucking night throwing the ball around and they're not watching film till they pass out at 4 a.m, you're out of your damn mind. They're both big football heads. I think this is just a marriage that we wanted to see happen in New England, but obviously it didn't. I think it's going to come to life on Sunday night, prime time, -5. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, lock it in. It's a lock. I'm calling it.
I like it because the Saints took the first one too.
Exactly.
That was probably a little
game. So
Giselle's probably like, Tom, can you get this dude out of my house, please?
Dude, I can't believe you'd let that psychopath in your house. Dude, that dude could pop off at any second.
Any second.
A YouTube boxer any other minute.
George, we're back to you.
All right. If there's one thing,
I can't wait to see my pick.
If there's one thing I know about NFL football, nobody circles the wagon like the Buffalo Bills.
damn it.
Come on, man.
Bills +3 against Seattle. They're gonna cover. They could win outright. It's gonna be a close game.
No, that's my pick.
Fucking terror. Was that all your fucking picks? Was that all?
No, it wasn't mine. That was a good one, though. It wasn't
Two
mine.
of them. Nobody circled the wagon like the Buffalo Bills. Bills +3. They could win outright. Book it.
Good pick. I can't wait.
In.
I'm going with the Tyler Hero of the NFL, Drew Lock, and the Denver Broncos to cover 4
Look
points.
for the one Jeezy song.
So I'm taking the Denver Broncos against the Atlanta Falcons. Drew Lock is a beast.
Bro, the Chargers cannot – everyone talks about Atlanta. The Chargers cannot hold a lead to save their lives.
They suck.
Poor Herbert. All right. My two – well, one of mine is what George took, so I guess I'll just stick with that. I like the Bills. I have it +2.5 versus Seahawks. I think they can win outright in Buffalo. And then my other one is the New York Football Giants +3
I was
versus
going
the
to
Washington football team.
That's a good pick.
The Giants just
Yeah, I
compete
like that.
against everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So
You compete and lose.
Yeah.
They're like Seton Hall.
all right, Snap, you're upset?
Well, it was the Buffalo Bills, but I'm not going to pull my whole thing I did last week and just say fuck you and take it still. So I'm going to go with a bolder pick just because I believe that hot streaks end. And I'm going the Carolina Panthers.
I was just going to say, I guarantee it's Carolina. I was
Plus 10.5 against them. Listen, the Chiefs scored 43-16 against the Broncos. They went 26-17 against the Bills. They had the 35-9 against the Jets. Somewhat like they haven't had a decently tight game since the Raiders, when the Raiders actually beat them. So I'm going to go Carolina here. I think they're going to keep it close just because it's one of those games where like you just don't expect Carolina to make.
CMC's back too, he's supposed to be.
Yeah, he's projected to play.
So Carolina, this could be like that week where you're like, oh, you know what? I'm going to take some big odds. I'm going to grab Kansas City -10.5. Now, Carolina's coming in there, and they're going to shake up some things. Are they going to win the game? Probably not. But they're going to make it close, and I'm going to take Carolina.
Is CMC back this week?
He's supposed to be, yeah.
Someone just said that.
Why is that an 11-point spread?
Because
Yeah.
the Panthers stink. What do you mean, why?
Bro, the Panthers have competed all year. What are you talking about?
Teddy's not going to lose you games, buddy.
Teddy Two Gloves.
Teddy Two Gloves is not going to lose you games.
I mean, you got Robbie.
11 is a lot. I agree. 11 is a lot.
Robbie Anderson's good. If CMC comes back, the Chiefs have never been good at stopping the rush. Like if you beat the Chiefs, most likely you ran the hell out of the ball. Like we just know that. So
What's wrong? No one wanted to touch the Monday night game?
Dude, that's the worst football game in the history of
Dude,
football games.
that game looks. Yeah, I'm good on that. I'm good on that. But low key,
I'll just make a pick right now.
I kind of do want to take the Jets.
It
I
doesn't
kind of want to take the Jets.
doesn't have to be the spread. Any of the lines, pick one.
Any line?
Any of the lines. So either the spread, money line, or over under.
For the Monday night game?
For the Monday night game?
Yes, right now.
I'm taking under. It's going to be like 7-3.
Under
42.5. I'd probably take the under too, but I do lean Jets if I have to take a spread.
I think I'll take the Jets too. Plus,
Yeah.
I
would lean Jets.
Yeah.
I'm taking the Pats, bro.
Yeah.
I'm thinking the
Pats
The Jets are the worst football team I've ever seen in my entire
They're
life.
fucking terrible, but
Bill
the Patriots
Belichick's
are pretty
Ravens the other
bad.
day were so bad.
Oh my god.
He was like, clearly we're not good. We just sold out for 3 Super Bowls. What are you talking about?
He really said that too. That was insane.
Dude,
And now they want to trade Gilmore. They're on a fire sale.
yeah, they want a first round pick
And a player. Yep.
No shot. They're not
No
getting
shot they're getting that.
I would see if I can't
All right, let's jump into it.
angle it down a little. I don't give a
It's
fuck.
boys, it's no shame. It's no shame November. I feel like we should talk about somebody real quick with a beard.
Yeah, we should.
Go ahead,
That was a
Bill.
great segue. Damn, that was good. We were still doing the whole Manscaped thing. I'd bring that up. But.
I swear I thought he was going, but yeah. So a lot of rumors, obviously, is Daryl Morey is the new president of basketball operations for the Philadelphia 76ers. Obviously coming from Houston, where James Harden, a.k.a. the Beard, plays. An article, what was that, 2 days ago or yesterday?
Damn, 2 days ago. No,
Came out.
yesterday.
It was yesterday.
Y'all see,
Rams yesterday put out a little
reported that the Sixers are interested and expected to even pursue a trade for James Harden. I'll take a backseat for this one. I'll hop in later. Again, let me throw this one to you, buddy, because I think it's kind of obvious. Look, we could play the hypothetical game after the initial part, because obviously if Daryl Morey pulls off a trade for James Harden that doesn't involve Joel Embiid or Ben Simmons, then I might cry. But I think the common denominator here is that 2-5 isn't going to be a fixture anymore. So, are you in or are you out?
If Ben's got to go, I'm unfortunately out. It's cool to watch James Harden play basketball. It really is, and he's obviously one of the most unguardable players that have ever played in the NBA. But there's a small list of people that I would trade Ben Simmons for, and he doesn't check that box for me. Now, if we go back to the hypotheticals, if somehow it didn't happen and you were to get rid of one of the 2 god-awful contracts that are on this roster right now, it would be a move that none of us saw. I was talking about trading Al Horford for Eric Gordon, and all of a sudden now James Harden's being brought up. So it's like, also, the rumors are so weird because Houston now says they don't want to trade him. So I don't understand where that came from. But if you could do without him, yeah. But if not, I'm off. I want Ben Simmons. He's my favorite player, I think, ever in basketball. So I'm good on that.
Snap. Are you in or are you out if Ben is a part of the trade?
I'm out. I am out. Like Ginn said, if it's I actually backtrack. I don't even think there's any weight to this. Every year you hear about superstars at the end of the season, and it's like, Golden State Warriors have interest in LeBron James this offseason. Like, dude, there's no weight to it. I really don't think so. I get it. It's Daryl Morey. Every time he makes a trade, it's kind of like, holy fuck, how do you pull that off from Chris Paul to Russell Westbrook? He's known for that. I'll give him that. But, dude, one, I don't think there's any weight to this. 2, I don't think the Sixers would even consider trading Ben Simmons because that was from the jump what they said this offseason. They're like, we are not trading Joel or Ben. They are untouchable. That was the whole thing. They were like, you can revamp the roster, but they are untouchable. So I don't think there's any weight to this. I would be out if they did do this, I'm gone. I'm just going to become one of these like LeBron followers that just jumps from team to team while he wins rings. So that would be what I do, honestly, if the Sixers traded Ben Simmons, because I think Ben Simmons does hold more value than James Harden right now. If they can pull off a trade without trading Ben Simmons, I might just start sending my direct deposits from my checks straight to Daryl Morey's house. I don't care if apparently he's making $10 million a year as the president of basketball operations for the next 5 years. So he's making $50 million in the next 5 years. I don't give a damn. Here's your tip for that one. Because I think if you do pull off a James Harden trade without getting rid of your two cornerstone of the players, I just don't see how we don't walk to the finals.
Yeah.
I really don't. I don't think anyone could stop us.
On the Houston side of things, I don't see how Ben and Russ fit whatsoever, unless Russ is
Not at all.
They would be really good at like the 100-yard dash.
Yeah. So look,
they would be fast. I'll tell you that.
Okay, I would probably be out as well, but I'm not so cut and clear. Ginn said there's a few people that check his boxes when it comes to giving up Ben Simmons. I'm not saying James checks off that box for me either, but there's also not many players I give a thought about for Ben Simmons. And there's a thought a little bit. Like, because if Ben – I'm relying – and look, I'm one of the biggest Ben supporters there is. And Ben is top 5 in everything else. He's elite in everything else except shooting. But we're all kind of banking on the fact that Ben's going to start shooting the rock, right? So if you take a guy who James Harden can play defense, he's one of the best all-around, all-time scorers. His shot is damn near unblockable with that step back. He gets to the foul line 100 times a game. He can get to the rack whenever he wants. He's lethal from 3. Look, I know he hasn't won anything in his career, but you pair one of the best all-around scorers ever with the most dominant big in the league, and you have some pieces around that, which I would expect Morey and this front office to acquire. There's just a thought. Not that I want to see that happen. I don't want Ben out of Philly, but to say there's no thought in it, I don't know about all that. Now, like you guys are saying, hypothetically, if there's a big 3 of Ben Simmons, James Harden, and Joel Embiid, I'm with Snap. I know that the East is going to be tough next year. I see no reason the Sixers don't march to the NBA Finals with that squad. But obviously, as Snap said, I don't know how much weight it holds. It came from Shams, so that holds a little bit of weight. But Morey being there adds a little bit of value to it. But look, surprise, surprise, the Sixers are interested in a great player. Doesn't mean the great players come into the city.
I'm interested in them trading for LeBron James tomorrow. Right. Does it mean it's going to happen? No. Right. It doesn't mean it. I'm interested in them somehow stealing Kevin Durant from the Nets.
Yeah. So I'm with you. I don't know how much weight it does hold. The more you felt just the fact that he just got here and now Shams reported that, there's something, but I don't know. George, wrap us up. Are you out, or is there
I'll say it's so goddamn intriguing. Like, just the thought of James Harden on this team with Joel Embiid is very intriguing. But if it means trading a player like Ben Simmons, who's top 5 and elite in every single category besides shooting the basketball, it's scary. And to mention 24-year-old Ben Simmons, who's under contract, compared to 31-year-old James Harden, who's going to be getting paid $47 million when he's 34 years old, and then becoming an unrestricted free agent. There's just a lot to take into it. There's less than a 1% chance they're going to get this done without Embiid or Simmons in the deal, in my opinion. I'm out. Personally, I'm out. I want Ben Simmons on this team. I think if he even has, I know every year we're he's going to shoot the rock more, but all we need is a semi-decent mid-range jumper from Ben Simmons. That's all we need from Ben Simmons right now. And it's having James Harden on this team would be fucking incredible. And having a shooter like that who can literally score on his own, whatever he needs to do, he will get the ball in the hoop. But I can't trade Ben Simmons for that. I can't trade a 24-year-old superstar Ben Simmons for that right now. That's just my opinion, but it's going to be very intriguing to see the news and see what happens the next upcoming weeks. Because with Daryl Morey, like he's known for pulling shit off, right? Like we'll see, like we'll see what happens. But God, I don't want to try. I do not want to trade Ben Simmons. I don't want to do that.
If Al Horford wasn't on the team and Tobias actually had a decent playoff run, he was like actually a lot better looking, like Clippers version of himself in play more often, it would be more intriguing. It would be more intriguing because then there would be other shit to bank on, like cap space and Tobias Harris actually being a competent third star. But like we're super pressed on the cap. Tobias Harris isn't this reliable third complementary star. So you just can't, like, honestly, I would not. I don't know what it is like in my head right now. I don't think James Harden and like Joel Embiid really styles fit. Like, yes, he's a 3-point shooter. He can get a shot at will. And like Joel Embiid can get his shot at will. But one just came off his best season as a run and gun offense, like Mike D'Antoni, 7 seconds. Like, and then Joel Embiid had the most post-ups in the league. Like, it kind of, like, contradict. Like, who are you going to model the offense off of? You going to model it off James Harden? You going to model it off Embiid? Well, Embiid's a superstar. Well, James Harden just scored 36 last year a game. Like, I don't even think those two alone could, like, it would be as effective as people think. And then you're still stuck with Al Horford, who can't run up the court. He looks like an old man when he runs. And Tobias Harris disappears in the playoffs. And James Harden is known for disappearing in the playoffs. So what? We're just going to go back to Joel Embiid banging on the block in playoff games? Like, the idea of trading Ben Simmons for James Harden right now is just out of the question.
Could you imagine if Elton Brand fucking traded Ben Simmons? Oh
my God!
I'll burn down the practice. Right now, the cops can come back to this footage right now. If Ellen Brand trades Ben Simmons and the Sixers practice facility burns to the fucking ground, it was fucking me. It was fucking me.
I'm just saying pre Daryl Morey.
That's a great point. Yeah, make your point.
I'm saying pre Daryl Morey. If Elton Brand were to make this exact trade of swapping James Harden and Ben, obviously more would have to be involved because the caps wouldn't work, and you made that trade, this city would riot. But Daryl Morey, which I love, don't get me wrong, awesome. If he makes this trade, it's like, Morey season, Howie part 2. Man, we're going to the chip. Could you imagine if we moved this 24-year-old kid and he somehow gets a competent jump shot and turns into
he would
top 5 player in the entire NBA.
Yeah.
The entire NBA.
Like I said, you can kick me off the show. I'm not a Sixers fan if they trade Ben Simmons.
The one thing I also gotta add to backtrack a little bit when we're talking about James Harden, just because he's 31 doesn't mean shit. Like, I understand it's James Harden, strip club legend, like likes to party and stuff, but like his game would translate even as an older player. Like,
I was just saying the idea of like paying
Crawford almost like you can still drop 50 on your fucking head. He's like 4 years old, like 40 years old. He does the same things he's been doing his whole career. Like, that crossover, I don't care how damn old you are, you ain't guarding that.
Yeah, I'll be like that. Like that, obviously his shot's not going anywhere. Like, it doesn't matter that he's 31 years old or anything. But I was just
floaters from 3-point range now. It's like crazy.
I was just thinking like you got Ben Simmons under contract right now, 24-year-old right now, superstar. He's a top 5 player in every category besides shooting the rock. And you're gonna have to pay James Harden, like, I think it's coming up 41 mil, 44 mil, 47 mil, and then you have to pay him again.
Yeah.
That just scares the shit out of me.
I'd rather pay for Chris Paul because at least I know what OKC said. OKC said all they want for Chris Paul is picks and a young player.
Mm-hmm.
I know we don't got a ton of young players.
Zaire?
I wish. But you would probably either have to deal Shaker, probably Thibault, and probably 2 first-round picks. But I would rather pay Chris Paul 40-something million a year than James Harden. Like, trade Ben Simmons for James Harden.
Right. Or keep Ben and Joel and
bring on Chris Paul, who led the league in clutch points and has had better performances in the playoffs than James Harden.
Right. All right. So it's going to be an interesting offseason. I mean, think about
It's
it.
only the beginning. It's only the
The
beginning.
roster doesn't change, and we bring the same team back next
The
season.
rumors building up that the season is going to start December 22nd.
Yep.
They're voting on it.
Yep.
They're voting on it.
So coming forward, like you're going to have the draft, trades, free agency, camp, all within like 4
2
weeks.
months.
Coming up fast as hell.
Yeah. So
Can't wait for the Sixers to get Sadiq Bey. So excited.
it's gonna be nuts. Also, next week, Sixers, just all around Philly guy, Paul Hudrick will be joining the Phaithful Phanatics podcast. Obviously, I'm going to be promoting that all week, so get ready to just see a ton of that content.
Follow the new Twitter account.
Follow the Twitter account at FaithfulFans2. At FaithfulFans2. I'll put it in the link down here when this goes out. I'm Dylan, Gint, Snap, George. Go Birds, go Sixers, and we'll see you guys next week.
Don't trade Ben.